Hey everybody, my name is Matt and welcome back to Crypto Kings. And today's video, we have a ton of stuff to talk about regarding Decentraland. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into what this coin has been doing here over the past day or so. So there is a lot to talk about with Decentraland, mainly the fact that we are watching a 12% decrease on the day, which is actually kind of terrifying. But to be honest with you, this isn't all that bad considering the fact that the entire crypto market right now has been performing pretty lackluster. You guys can see that the entire market over the past 24 hours is down, and not down in a good way. Bitcoin here is down to around $43,000, which is very, very tough. It fell through some very key levels of support. Ethereum below 35, which also hurts, definitely does hurt. So there are a lot of coins here which are not performing particularly well, but it's our goal to try to find right when a good time to buy Decentraland is. And honestly, I can't think of a better time than now. I loaded up on some more mana today, and again, with a price of sub $3, I think it's only a matter of time before we pass 3 again. When we look at the 7-day, again, you guys can see it basically just falls off of a cliff, hanging out at around 320, all the way down to a low here of around 275. So we've gone up a tiny bit since then, but really I think it's going to take a positive news announcement or something regarding Facebook and Meta or whatever to get Decentraland back to where it needs to be. Now, the volume has increased a great deal over the past 24 hours, but this isn't necessarily a good thing considering this volume is largely sell volume. So the majority of people here are deciding to sell Decentraland as opposed to buy it. Now, when we look at some historical data, of course, this is more volume than we've seen over the past few days. And again, that's because so many people are deciding to dump. Now, when we take a look at the chart, there is a lot to unpack here, guys. Before we do, make sure to check out Webull, folks, down below in the description. If you guys like to get started trading stocks and crypto, definitely do check it out for some free stocks with my link down below. I always do appreciate it, guys, and it's a great way to get started investing for the new year. So when we take a look at the chart, there is a lot to unpack here, but mainly the fact that we've been in a period of consolidation for a good amount of time, because when we draw our, really more important lines, you guys can see there is a period of consolidation that kind of starts in late December and doesn't really move, which, stays between really like 315 and 330. That sort of period of consolidation lasts for a long period of time here in December, and if you wanted to be more generous, you could say that really late November up until early December was also a period of consolidation, hanging out somewhere between 3 and 4. So if you wanted to be, more generous with the use of the word consolidation, you could say that as well. But what's really important is the fact that right now we are revisiting some key lines of support that we have seen in the past. So this 280-ish line, the one that we are, approaching right now, was actually used a lot in the past, because this 280 line was one of the main sort of propellers that brought mana from being just another, altcoin into something I think a lot of people had on their watch list, something that most people are now invested in. So we see 280 as a line of resistance here on the 6th, in which we fall down from. Same thing on the 9th, we try to pass it, fall down. Then on the 11th, we hit 280 and go past it, and take a look. This is one of our first major bullish movements up to around 380. Then we fall back down on a few days later, but look, we're back at around 280, and we use this to bounce off once again and head to the stars. Now, same thing on December 4th. We head down to around 250, so close enough as another sort of area for support. So if you were asking me, hey, Matt, where do you see the line of support over the past few months? Well, really somewhere between 250 and 280, but overall it's this region right here that we definitely want to stay above as best possible. I really don't want to see us falling through any of this area here, because ultimately that could lead to some pretty bad consequences in the future. So definitely trying to avoid that as best possible. Now, the overall graph again doesn't have too much of a shape. You could argue that this is still really just a falling wedge from late November up until really around now. If you wanted to be slightly generous with how you interpret this graph, you're a little off in terms of some of these bottoms here. But overall, you could say that this looked like a falling wedge that ultimately, if we could have fought past, kind of this resistance and, got to around 330 or 340, could have seen some kind of liftoff. But unfortunately, that kind of goes out the window with this, sort of flash crash that really just led to us sort of falling off a cliff here. So definitely a lot to sort of interpret and predict with the near future, as this flash crash is not going to be documented very well on the Fibonacci retracement. There's not going to be a lot of information that we get from this flash crash. Now, to prove that, when we take a look at the Fibonacci retracement right here, you guys can see it's not even charted, this flash crash, and there's just not enough data points to really use here because this is only, a day or so. There's not a lot of information that we could use from this flash crash, even if we wanted to, because again, it is tracking the more recent movements where the range was really, 340 to like 310. And then you guys can see, it's kind of bouncing off the 23.6% line in a couple of instances. But, unfortunately, it falls right through that, just bottoms out. I mean, just complete collapse. And what we're left with now is going to be pretty tough. But, if we were to draw our own Fibonacci retracement, let's say we want to start at the high, which, maybe is somewhere around, let's go with 330 or so. If we wanted to draw our own, and then with the low of around 267, you maybe could argue that, we have maybe the 23.6% line. If we want to go, somewhere around here, you could say that the increase from 267 up to around 281, has been a decent, sort of catch from that bottom. But the problem is we don't know whether or not these future candles are going to retouch, the 267 area again. So ultimately, this becomes very, very hard to look at. Now, when we take a look at the relative strength index, you guys can see it is way below what is considered to be normal, for these current market conditions. So again, we are, treading around the middle here, and then, oh my goodness, we fall all the way through. Now, normally this would be fine and a great guarantee, time to buy if the crypto market was being normal. But unfortunately, right now, it's not being normal. So the relative strength index, isn't as helpful as it normally is because we're not being given information that really applies. Because again, the current market right now is so far down that, who really cares what the relative strength index is showing for something like Mana? Because ultimately, if Bitcoin, doesn't want to behave again shortly, this really won't matter all that much. So again, just a sort of matter of concern. Overall, though, I do think that this will recover. I think the market will recover, and I don't think you could go wrong with buying Decentraland at around $2.80. So again, still, in my opinion, this is on sale. This is a good time to buy. I did re-add more to my portfolio today, but again, definitely do keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, just my personal opinion as always, and you must do your own research. So that being said, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more daily Decentraland and Shiba Inu videos here on the channel. Definitely check out the Webull down below in the description. That being said, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Matt. See you guys on the next one. Peace.